Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Mark Prater podcast, where our aim is to connect our global family of churches with our executive director. Those who are watching the podcast right now will take note of a couple things that are different. One of them is you can see the amount of effort and money that goes into the production quality of this podcast, as you can tell by the bleeding edge cinematography that's happening on our end in Kyle's old computer. But also that we're here with Kyle Huber, who's the lead pastor of Green Tree Church in Egg Harbor Township in Ocean City, New Jersey. He was on the podcast, I think, last year to talk about some things. He's back because I'm here with him in New Jersey on vacation with my family. What guys can't see is that right now I am wearing some fire Hawaiian shorts. They're hot fire. If only this terrible camera could pick them up, but we must move on. So we're here to talk about the benefits of the influence we enjoy from global pastors in our partnership in Sovereign Grace. Before we get into that with Kyle, though, you have an encouraging update for us.
I do. I just got a picture, I believe it was yesterday on WhatsApp from Jeffrey Joe. It was a picture of, I believe, about 8 or 9 pastors in the Philippines, in the Mindanao region of the Philippines, who were taking their Bible knowledge exam as the first formal step of pursuing ordination. And it's a wonderful picture to see because these men are obviously very intent upon joining Sovereign Grace and want to walk through the ordination process as the first step in formalizing a partnership beyond being a candidate church. It's also just a reminder that we have brothers throughout the world who are leading churches throughout the world who are going to be a part of Sovereign Grace. And as we interact with them and enjoy partnership with them, I believe that for our brothers here in the States in particular, but I think throughout the world as well, we are going to benefit from one another and be shaped by men who are doing ministry in different cultures and in different parts of the world. That's what it was a reminder of, which is why I'm so glad that you're in New Jersey this week and that Kyle could join us, because Kyle, you've been serving outside the United States, pastors in churches for almost a quarter of a century, you were telling me. I believe you said 23 years. So let me ask you, what have you learned from interacting with brothers and churches throughout the world?
Mark, there are numbers of just wonderful illustrations that fill my mind even as you ask the question. I think most central to what I've learned, what I've shared often, is that as we go to another country, often we've been invited. We're spending time with pastors who are very humble and eager to learn, and we can start falling into, if we're not careful, this sense of we're bringing all of this helpful information. We have better biblical education. We have broader church experience because of what we're able to do in the States. But as you spend time with these men in their churches and in their homes, what quickly comes across is the depth of their faithfulness and the faithfulness of their congregations. And that is deeply impactful. What people in many parts of the world, what they have to go through just to gather for a service, and the discomforts that are often a part of where they meet, places without heat, how difficult a site can get to. So there really is no greater impact that people can have on us than to illustrate and press us into the value of faithfulness to our Savior. So that stands out above all.
That's wonderful. They many brothers throughout the world are a great example of that. And it as I hear the stories that you've told me, for example, and other brothers from the States who have traveled throughout the world and report similar stories, it really does challenge my faith and strengthens my faith. And I believe that's one of the ways we're going to just benefit and be influenced by our brothers throughout the world. What else have you learned, Kyle, besides their a good example of faithfulness?
I would say the value of true partnership, meaning we're not just involved with activities together during a visit, but there is the commitment of knowing each other and being known, of growing together personally in our love for the Lord and how we're being equipped, and then how we're carrying out ministry for the sake of the gospel. And that takes time, it takes standing with people, and that value of seeing how meaningful it is to Christian communities that can be very isolated, where the percentage of Christians are very small, where the culture can even be more negative to them than what we're starting to experience here. So that value of churches and pastors here really coming alongside and building long-term friendships, what we do in Sovereign Grace, what we've experienced and known, to see that happen in other parts of the world, and where it kind of, you have these moments where the light turns on for a pastor you've started to spend time with, when he realizes this is true partnership with each other. We're committed, because Americans tend to talk big and be excited and then move on to the next exciting thing. And international Christians have experienced that from American Christians in short-term mission trips and other experiences, and they begin to take what we say with a grain of salt. So our commitment to taking what we've had as a family of churches and seeing that integrated in other parts of the world, that's going to build our faith, that's going to deepen our love for the Lord, and we're going to see it'll have an impact that is lasting and meaningful.
That's excellent, Kyle. Just hearing that, we experience partnership within the context we experience it in, but when we consider partnership beyond that context, and hear how meaningful it is, especially those that feel more isolated, it has a number of effects upon us, if nothing else, to be more grateful for the partnership we share. And can I just say thank you for being faithful? Yeah. You have been faithful for almost a quarter of a century. And I think faithfulness marks your extra local ministry. You have built partnership meaningfully and deeply and relationally with brothers throughout the world. And so I thank God for you, Kyle, for your example to us as well.
It is a privilege. And maybe just one quick example that people can apply now is, think of how meaningful it is for Michael in Ukraine to know we're praying for him with what he's facing, which we can't comprehend. To know real partnership, we are praying for him. That has to be a great strength in a horrible situation.
Yes, that's a great example.
Absolutely. I got the opportunity to spend some time with some of the Mexican brothers earlier this year, and came away deeply humbled and inspired by their example. So I'd encourage, if there's ever opportunities, and there's growing opportunities for pastors of Sovereign Grace to get outside of your normal routine, out of the country, to go serve in some way, get to know pastors outside of the country. You will serve them, but you will be served in ways that are deeply meaningful. It's really, I mean, don't we have over 100 international people coming into the conference?
Yeah, at least, and maybe more.
So I'm sure you'd agree with me. We'd encourage all who come from Sovereign Grace to make a point of greeting the brothers and sisters that will be gathering from around the globe. Can't wait for that.
That's excellent.
It's exciting to think about. So thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone, for watching and reading. We will see you here next week, Lord willing. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, Mark would love to hear from you. For more videos like this, hit subscribe on YouTube or by email at markkprater.com.